For me, the summer months mean over 100-degree temperatures and many sports and events shut down till the end of August. I use that time to evaluate what gear and skills I need to acquire for the next fall seasons, which for me consists of football, cross country, swimming, and running events. So with that, let's see what's in my bag and the gear I think is essential to shoot outdoor sports. All right, everybody, let's get started. First of all, I called the title of this video is What's in My Bag, but I'm gonna be honest with you, all of my stuff will not fit in one bag. In fact, I would have to I have two bags, maybe three if you include the little one. All this stuff would probably not quite fit, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through all my big items first, and then I'll go through accessories. One of the things I wanna talk about before I get started is nothing here is sponsored. I am not getting paid by anybody to recommend or talk about any of the products I'm about to talk about. There was one item that somebody sent me that for free, and I will talk about that briefly, but everything else I paid for some way, shape, or form. If you're watching this is probably not the first What's in My Bag video that you've seen on YouTube. There's plenty of other people doing that. I think what's gonna be a little bit different about the way I do it than what you see out there from like Peter Reed Miller and some other ones is you're not gonna see a laptop here. I don't need a laptop. The way I photograph, and which kind of drives how I set up, is I shoot for clients who pay me to be there. These are usually players' families, or the team itself that are paying me to be there. So that's why you will not see anything involving Wi-Fi, MiFi, laptops in my setup. So having said that, let's get going. All right, let's get started with the big stuff and we'll progress from there. So as you see here, I have two camera bodies. If you're a serious photographer of any kind, not just sports, but a serious photographer of any kind, you need two camera bodies. You always have to have a backup of some sort. One, a lens or a flash or a camera that can replicate the other in a pinch, right? So in my case, I have a Nikon D5, which is my primary camera. I have a Nikon D850, which is my secondary. Next item up here is I have a 24-70, also made by Nikon, 24-70 2.8. Next up I have a 70-200, and I'll make a special note of something here. So this one has a special ring around the zoom collar. This is sent to me by a company called Camera Bandit, and what you do is it goes on top of your regular zoom ring or your focusing ring, and it just gives a greater grip. They sent it to me for free. I haven't really had a chance to try it out, so I can't say good, bad, or indifferent if it's good or not. So I'm gonna try it out this year, see how it works out. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but we'll see. Those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know I have a 200 to 500 5.6. I seriously thought about selling this at one point in time when I bought this 400 2.8. However, I kind of think I want to hold on to it for baseball. I just like the zoom range, it's really awesome. It's not as sharp perhaps as the 400 2.8, but for a little topaz denoise at it, and it works out, and I really like it. Other items I have a 1.4 teleconverter. This is a pretty good teleconverter. I'm going to combine that with the 400 2.8. Looking forward to that. There's something else you also don't often see with sports photographers. They never talk about flashes. I've noticed that, and I will admit, I rarely use flashes. This one is a SB910, older model. It's not the latest and greatest. I also have a SB700, and again, most sports photographers don't talk about flashes. I always have a couple of flashes. Now I will grant you, I don't usually use them in games. However, I have used it on the field during a bright sunny day as fill flash. So those are the big ticket items I've got right now. Let's move on to accessories. All right, moving on to accessories. I got a few items here. First item. This is a photographer's bib that I sometimes wear for some events. I would recommend you get one of these things. It really helps you stand out. And you look more official, quite frankly. People think once they see it, they don't really question you. So, I sometimes get asked questions like from people, so how do I get access to fields? One way you get access is look like you belong there. And this really helps out with something like that. people won't question you if you're wearing something like this. If you went to the trouble to have like an event bib like this, you probably belong there. So this is a think tank bag. It's designed to be carried. It's got straps on the back. It works pretty good. And by the way, everything I'm talking about here will be linked below. So I put my name on everything here. Let me go through a couple items I got. So this is the last slide, and this is for getting it's like a gray card / white balance card. I've used this several times. This has been in previous videos. It's what I use to get white balance in weird situations. Next item, this is a think tank emergency rain cover, large for cameras. This will actually cover both my camera and that 400-2.8 I was talking about before. So it doesn't rain a lot here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I'm at, but you never know. This is gaffer's tape. This stuff is awesome. If you don't have it, I would suggest you use it. The cool thing about gaffer's tape is it doesn't leave a residue, which is good. And so I use this like an emergency device to secure items on a regular basis. You don't necessarily have to carry around the whole full roll. Here I've seen people wrap it around like medicine bottles of some sort. This is an item, you know, I'm kind of old school. It came back from the old days where we actually pulled out light meters. This is a Sekonic Lightmaster Pro. I have used this on a couple of occasions on different fields to check my ISO. If you want a little bit more accuracy than what your camera might be telling you, you might want to check this out. This here is another think tank item, and this holds cards. I use this to hold cards. You know, my cameras all have dual slots in them for cards, so I don't really worry about carrying cards too much, extra cards. If I have one of my cards and my camera fails, there's a backup, and I always set it for backup rather than overflow. My next bag is another think tank. This one I bought specifically because I plan to do traveling. This is really nice. Of course, it's got the rollers on here. It's got a handle that lifts out, which comes in very handy, of course. Handle on the side. Got a nice big pocket right here for items. There's a pocket on the side over here. There's a nice little feature which comes in handy. It's got a built-in cable lock, which, you know, sometimes I'm on the side of a field, even at a high school. I don't know who's gonna be around. I lay bags down. I got tons of expensive gear in there, and who wants to lose that kind of stuff? So it's nice to have it as a cable lock. These zippers right here, they're capable of locking, and it's big enough on the inside that you could actually hold very large items. For example, I'm gonna put my 400 in here, and I could put another camera with, say, the 70-200 in here, and it'll fit just nicely. I haven't had a chance to try this out, but I've seen it and it looks kind of cool, and I plan to use it later on. So, and again, I'm linking all this stuff below, but check out this little chair. So it telescopes out and it telescopes back down again. I can see using this for some events where I'm going to be stationary quite a bit. If I was just going to be parked in one location for a significant period of time, I think this would work pretty well. And like I said, it telescopes down and you can carry it around like that. So kind of cool. Now for indoor sports, I like this seat right here. This stadium seat right here. It's a little dusty and dirty. This is kind of like my go-to. I use this all the time for indoor sports. It's a little kind of a pain to carry around for outdoor sports, so I don't use it as much. I've tried all sorts of these kind of camp chair type things or stadium chairs. This is the best one I have found so far. I do recommend this one. It's got tons of padding. The backing's not bad. So here's the crazy thing. This is just plain old Amazon monopod. I don't recall how much this was exactly, but I think it was less than 100 bucks. And if you look at the Gitsos and some of the other ones, they're pretty darn expensive. And this was plenty. This does great. I've had no problems with it. It's carbon fiber. You know, this is definitely linked below. I use this all the time, and it works great. So why buy a $300 monopod, fancy monopod, when you can get the Amazon basic ripoff, and it works just fine. Once again, I do not take all this stuff to games. I pick and choose. For example, I got football coming up, and probably I'm gonna walk out onto that field with the 400, the 400 on a monopod with the D5 on it, the 70 to 210 with my D850 on that. That's about it. That's what I'll use. And the rest of the stuff, if I do take it, maybe sit in the car. All right, guys, that's my gear. If you have a piece of gear that you really like to use and you use it in your sports photography, put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. I'm always looking for better gear. All right, that's it for today. I appreciate it. Check out a couple other videos while you're here. Hit the subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you next time.